Good morning. The M4 Mac Mini is Apple's newest desktop computer release. Is it for seniors? Let's talk about it. Apple has a wide-ranging lineup of products that you can use for computers. Those products include laptops,
yay!
iPads, cell phones, and desktop computers. What do we need a computer for on a daily basis? Well, the cell phone makes calls, allows you to make and send text, send and receive, and an iPad, which is an electronic tablet, lets you do other things, including all those above, plus watch movies on larger screens. It's basically just an expansion of a cell phone. But what most of us need is just a place that we can check our email, we can send text messages and receive text messages and read them, look up stuff on the internet for shopping purposes, create shopping lists, go to Amazon, buy junk we don't need, and also watch television. You can watch your television on your computer now as well. And you can also watch movies, entertainment. So, with all these different product lines, what is the best desktop that we can use? Well, Apple has recently launched the M4 Mac Mini. And in my opinion, it is the absolute best desktop value for seniors. Let's get into it. This is the M4 Mac Mini, and as you can see, it's a very small case. This is my hand, and it actually fits in one hand, and it's very, very light. So this is a aluminum case, very metal, very durable. So what I want to do is I want to talk about what's on the hardware itself on the outside, and then we'll talk about what's on the inside. This device is $599 from the Apple Store. If you don't have a trade-in, you can buy this cheaper. You can buy it for $4.99 from Amazon. Sometimes it's even on sale on Amazon. You can keep an eye out for that. But it's also on sale at Micro Center. It's on sale at B&H Photos. You can find it at Best Buy. You might even be able to find it by now at Walmart's, Sam's, Costco. Just shop around, put M4 Mac Mini into your search engine on your current device, and you can find sales on this thing, which sales are always a good thing for those seniors who are on a budget. So let's talk about what's on it and what's in it. The first thing is these ports right here. It's what they're called, ports. This is where you hook up devices to your computer. If you have a keyboard and a mouse that are wired, you can plug them into these two ports right here. These are called USB-C. You can see they're kind of small. Those of us with older devices have USB-A. These big old honking things, remember these? Okay, that not gonna fit in there. So what you have to do is you buy these little adapters for like $4 off of Amazon. I'm sure everybody's familiar with Amazon by now. Fits inside there like that. Boom. It's hooked up just like that. So that's how you hook up an external keyboard and an external mouse to your desktop computer. That little white dot right there, if you can see it, is a light that comes on when it's turned on. This is a headphone jack. For those of you with wired headphones, you can still plug in a wired headphone and listen to this and not disturb everybody in the house. This side has nothing. This side has nothing. And before we look at the back, let's look at the bottom. As you can tell, the bottom is black. You see these grooves all around here? That's because it sucks air in here and blows it out here to the back. So the heat goes away from you. I have never heard the fan turn on in this machine. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. I've had a bunch of PCs, Microsoft PCs in the back, and whenever the fans turned off, it sounded like a jet engine cranking up. They were so loud, and they blew out so much heat that if here in the South, if you sitting in a room that's being air conditioned and trying to keep it cool, and those big old fans turned on all that heat, it heated up the room, and you got to turn the air conditioning down, which cost even more money. So you don't have to worry about that. These things sip power. They don't hardly use any electricity whatsoever. This is the power button right here. It turns it off and on. I bet I've turned it on. I've had this for a few months now, and I bet I've had to turn it off maybe twice since I've had it. And that's because I'd done something stupid. It wasn't a device's issue or software issue. It was a user issue. We call that an ID10T error in the IT world, which stands for idiot. So I did stuff and I had to turn it off. But other than that, what Macs do is they go to sleep. So they quit processing hardly any power whatsoever. And then when you want to wake them up, you touch the keyboard or wiggle your mouse and they come back on. Now, I still work, and I have a laptop supplied by my company that I work for. And I have to turn it off every single night. Because if I don't, when I come back in the morning and I try to go to work, I start work at 3 o'clock in the morning. And if I try to use my computer, if I don't boot it off, I get so many errors, it basically makes the laptop crash. So I have to turn it off at night, and then I reboot it in the morning. Why is that a big issue? With a Mac, you touch the keyboard, and like seconds later, you're doing whatever you want to do. With my laptop, it takes 3 to 4 minutes a minimum to boot up my laptop. And if I'm successful, that's a good thing. If I'm not successful, sometimes I have to reboot my laptop 3 and 4 times to get it to connect to what it needs to do. Then, of course, I have to connect to the VPN, which is a whole nother story for another day. But basically, it is a pain in the rear end with PCs. So that's what helps make the M4 Mac Mini great for senior citizens. You simply touch a button and you do what you want to do. You don't have to be a computer programmer to get your computer to work. On the back of this, we have some simple ports. This one is your power. This is where your power turns in. Really small, not that big old bulky thing that most PC desktops have. This is what we call an Ethernet cable. If most of y'all remember all those blue cables we used to have that you had to connect to the wall to have a hardwire connection instead of what we call a Wi-Fi connection, then this is what you would plug your wire into the back of your desktop computer. HDMI stands for the way you connect up a monitor. If you don't have HDMI, you can buy an adapter and fit into HDMI, or you can also just get an adapter and plug into one of these 3 ports on the back to connect up your monitor to your desktop. And this unit does allow you to have 2 monitors if you're so inclined. But the bottom line is those 3 ports are there also for extra accessories, and that's what you use. The little lightning bolt there means this is powered right here, which it puts out a whole lot of power. So if you have devices you want to hook up to it and power them up, you can use that port for that as well. So it's a beautiful form factor. Like I said, it's only this big. I'm going to put up a picture here with the specs in a few minutes. But this is how big it is. I mean, it's tiny. It's tiny and it's light. So this is a great little unit. What's inside this thing? Well, inside this thing, first of all, let's talk about the CPU. That's the computer processing unit. That's the brains of this box. That's what does all the computations and everything else to allow you to use a computer. This particular model has the newest chip that Apple has created, and they have their own chip line. It is the Apple Silicon M4 chip. It's one of the fastest chips on the market right now. So it's big, it's beautiful. I'm not going to get into the specs on that because most of you wouldn't be interested anyway. But the bottom line is it has all the computer processing power you're going to need today and probably into the next 5 to 10 years. It has all the computational power that you're going to have. Also inside this thing is a 16 gigabytes of RAM. RAM stands for random access memory. Random access memory. So that's when it's doing its computations, it uses the RAM to store what it's doing. And that's how it puts together, kind of putting together an apple pie. It puts all the different pieces in there and holds them in the RAM so that the CPU can mix it all up and make a pie out of it. So that's what RAM is. And also it has storage. If you create something, let's say you create you take a photo and you want to save it somewhere on your desktop computer so you can look at it later. Your daughter or your granddaughter sends you pictures of your brand new great-grandson. Well, you want to store them somewhere where you can reference them. So inside this is what's called the SSD, which stands for solid state drive. That means it's electronic. In the old days, most of us are going to remember that we had these things called HDDs. They were hard drive devices. That means they had those iron oxide platters on the inside of them that spun around really, really fast, and that's what you saved your information on. Those things are outdated and gone. They're worthless for us consumers. They fail. They make a whole... Remember I was talking about the noise of the jet engine? Well, another thing that creates jet engine noise and heat were those old HDDs. They created hard drives. They created a whole lot of heat, and they often failed, and you lost all your information. So inside here is a 256 gigabyte, which is a whole bunch of bytes. So that's how much storage it has on the inside of it, and that, in my opinion, is all you need. I had a Mac Mini from 2018, and it was this big by this big, and it only had a 256 gigabyte drive inside of it. I had tons and tons and tons of photos. I mean, I I was probably getting close to 10,000 photos or more. I had a bunch of videos, bunch of spreadsheets, bunch of Word documents. I had stuff I had collected from the prior 15 years on there, and I had all the stuff that I had created since 2018 on there, and I still only reached like 80 gigabytes out of 256 when I traded it into Apple. So I never even got close to using up all the storage space on this device. Now, you watch a lot of YouTubers out there. These guys do videography and all kind of stuff, and they say, well, it's just too small. You gotta need to have a bigger one. Most of them are recommending you get 512 gigabytes. I don't know why. I'm going to be fine with it. Plus, later on, I'm going to do another video that shows you how to connect up to this port or this port an external SSD, solid state drive, that you can store all the stuff that you want. I could build right now a 126 terabyte now. That's 1,000 times bigger than a gigabyte. I can build a 126 terabyte NAS unit, which is a network attached storage unit, which is just another name for a fancy big old storage hard drive or drive out in space. And I would never use it up. If I created videos every single day, which are big files, if I created them every day, I would never fill it up before I die. I probably wouldn't fill it up if I lived another 10 lifetimes. I would never fill that up. But the thing about these is that you can store stuff right here on this desktop and not run out of space more than likely. Also, I'm going to do a video on software later, but you can also, with Apple, you have what's called iCloud storage, and that's just a big old computer in the sky. And basically, what you do is you can back up all your photos and movies and important documents and everything else to the big old computer in the sky called iCloud, and it's unlimited. You can put as much on there as you want to. And so basically, you're never going to, in my opinion, you're never going to run out of storage on this unit unless you just like to shoot 3-hour-long videos and then put them on your hard drive, on your solid state drive. So anyway, and the neat thing is again, you just can connect up an external SSD to here and have as many gigabytes and terabytes. I have terabyte drives, terabytes of storage that you want on that external device. Okay, so we talked about the RAM, we talked about the CPU, and we talked about the SSD. This is the second time today I've shot this video, so I don't know what else I was saying, but I just know that for me personally, this device right here is probably the best computer I've ever seen. There's a lot of folks out there on YouTube who are saying the same thing. The value to function price of this thing is astronomical, because this M4 chip that's in this thing is amazing. The cost on this being as low, like I said, you can find them for $4.99. The cost on it is extremely low, and the ability to do different things with it, it's going to make this device last you for 10, at least in my opinion, I think this box will last me 10 years. So basically, I had my last one for 5 years, and the only reason that I changed was because that was made with an Intel chip, and Apple went to their own chip, CPU. When we say chips, we're usually talking about CPUs. So Intel made the chips that were being used in the prior Apple devices, and now Apple has made their own. It's a cutting edge chip, and I think it's going to be future-proof for quite a long time. So for me personally, this is the only one I'm going to need. I can keep my money and buy other stuff. I do like gadgets, so I can buy a whole bunch more gadgets. And this allows you to do that. But if you're looking for something where you can connect to the web and you can read your email, read and send email, receive and send text messages, you can do that right here. You don't even have to have a cell phone. You can do it right here on your desktop. If you like to look at photos and get photos from your friends and family, and look at movies, and you can even create movies if you want to. You can do all that right here. You can surf the web. You can go shopping on Amazon and buy a whole bunch more useless stuff. I won't say anything about anybody in our family that does that on a regular basis, but there's somebody in our family who loves to do that. And you can tell by the steady stream of Amazon boxes that come to our house every single day. But the bottom line is, you can surf the web and buy stuff. You can look at Walmart and see what's on sale at Walmart for groceries and all that kind of stuff. Now, talking about the future, one last thing. In the future, we're not even going to need these boxes. Now, that could be as far away as 5 to 10 years from now. Because in the future, we're going to have a device this big by about that big. And it'll sit on our desk. And there will be no wires, because everything will attach to your devices by Bluetooth or some form of connection that they come up with. Because in the future, we will not have the ability to have anything locally on our computers, because everything will be on the web. Apple, Microsoft, Google, YouTube, all of them now sell services, as they call it. In fact, Apple made more money from services in 2024 than it did from selling all of its devices. And what that means is all your software, all your applications, all your photos, everything else will be stored on the web. And that's quite a ways away for Apple, but that's what they're all moving towards. There won't be a whole lot of money being made selling devices in the future. Now, Microsoft already has that. They have a unit that's about this big by this big that they're selling to corporations. And all it does is it allows you to connect up a keyboard and a mouse if you want a wired one, and an electrical plug and an Ethernet cable. And that's all it is. And what it does is everything goes straight to the web, and you do all your work inside the web. In fact, I'm already doing that. They have what's called Office 365 Web, and that's where your applications reside and where you store everything. So basically, there is no point in even having a desktop box for anything. You just need to be able to connect to the internet and do your work and all your entertainment through it. Now, I didn't mention two things. First of all, this has a Wi-Fi chip inside of it. So that means you don't have to have that Ethernet cable on the back. All you have to have is the Wi-Fi chip, and you have a modem already in your house, if you have cable or whatever you have, and you connect to the Wi-Fi in this box. So you don't have to have an Ethernet cable in this box. But also, you won't have to have any kind of cables in the future, because everything will be going to what we call Bluetooth today, whatever version that will be in the future. So that's something to look forward to, and it's already out there. Microsoft has that box already, and that's what institutions will be switching over, because everything is going to be managed through the internet. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. Please let your friends and family, especially the seniors, know that this channel is here and that they can come and learn about technology here. Some of it is not for folks who are already technology geniuses. I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I thought, after meeting some relatives actually, who are surprised at their lack of understanding of basic technology, I thought they could use some information to look at and understand. So what I do is actually I am creating these videos, and then I create a link and I send it out to them so they can just watch the video itself, because I'm not sure they know how to get on YouTube and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. So the bottom line is I'm going to be doing a video on that, but I don't know that they know how to do that, so I send it to them so they can see this. But please share it. I like to build the channel, and I don't do this for profit. This is simply a, I guess, hobby is what you call it. I'm not sponsored by anybody. Now, if anybody wants to sponsor me, they're certainly welcome to, because that way I can buy a whole bunch more equipment and demo it. But probably not going to happen. So anyway, please share it. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel get more views through YouTube. You can actually just open it up and click like and subscribe, and then unclick. You don't even have to watch the video. I just need to get the algorithm. That's the fancy mathematical model they use to see how many views people are getting on their channels. That's what a YouTube channel, a YouTube station is called. It's called a channel. And I need to get more people looking at my channel so that I can reach more people and share this information. If you have anything in particular that you would like to see me do, please leave a comment, and I'll, if I'm able to do it, I'll do it. I know my next 2 videos I plan to do the Mac operating system, which is what, whenever you sign into the desktop, when you turn it on, that's what comes in. That's where you do all your work inside of it. So that's how you see your videos and your pictures and everything else. And I plan to do a basic introduction to the Mac OS, and that's stands for Mac operating system. And I also still plan to do the Walmart app demo as well that I mentioned in my first video. So I look forward to doing that. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Be blessed.